thank you so much for joining me today. I am so very excited to have you here. Today we're just casually going to be talking about my most anticipated reads. I have 6 books that I have physically that I'm really excited to read, and then I also have 6 books on my Kindle. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to tell you just overall on my Kindle and physically the most exciting books that I have, the books that I am most excited to read, books that I have placed in such a high category in my brain that I physically don't want to read them because I don't want to not enjoy them. I'm not gonna lie, some of these books are the same books that I had on my last most anticipated reads video. So if that tells you anything, if that shares with you my issue with reading books that I'm excited to read, for whatever reason, books that I have placed in this super high tier in my brain, I feel like I'm going to read them and not place them as highly as I imagine them to be. And so that worries me for whatever reason. It literally doesn't matter, but to me, that's so sad. I don't want to not like a book as much as I think that I'm going to like it, so I just don't read it. And then it sits on my shelf and I'm like, man, this book is gonna be so good, I want to read this so bad, and I don't do it because I'm nervous that it's not gonna live up to the hype that I've created for it. So we are going to get this list out here. That way we can actually see what books I'm most excited to read, and hopefully I can get most, if not all of them, off of this list, because again, I've had some of these on here for such a long time. I need to get them cleared out. I need to read them. I need to either enjoy them or not enjoy them and just be okay with what I think of it. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm going to show you the top 12 books that I have on my most anticipated list, and hopefully by the end of 2026 I will have none of these books left on there. I'm just gonna go in order of what I stack them in. So starting off strong, we're gonna do physical first. I have Throne of Glass. This, I'm not gonna lie, me not reading it doesn't not make sense at all. I think that with this one I wanted to read ACOTAR first. I've been told to read ACOTAR first, so I did that. We've officially gotten through ACOTAR. Congratulations to me. But that means that I have Throne of Glass next to go. After reading ACOTAR, I do think that I'm really going to enjoy Throne of Glass. I think it'll be a really, really good series. But with knowing how much I liked ACOTAR, that means that this one is placed on a very, very steep pedestal. And I do worry about getting into a really, really massive book series. Obviously, we know how I feel about really big book series. Sometimes I just get really slumped with it. So I think for this one I am going to have to figure out when to read it and really just take my time and enjoy it for what it is, not try to rush through it. And if I need a break, just take a break. So first on the list, we have Throne of Glass. I don't think I'm going to get to it anytime soon. I've had this on here forever. I don't think I'm going to get to it in the near future. But when I do, you will know, because I will make a video about it. I promise you that. Next up, we have the Inheritance games. This one has been so highly rated everywhere. Everybody talks about this book consistently. Everybody compares it to Knives Out, and I really enjoyed that movie. I watched it with Nick, and then I watched it again with my family while Nick was on deployment. So this book, I do have high hopes for it. I think it's gonna be really fantastic. But again, it's just part of a series. I've just been putting it off because I don't want it to not live up to the hype, but also do I want to actually read the entire series right now? That's my problem. Once I start it, I've got to get through it fairly quickly so I don't forget things. But I have this one. I am very excited to read it. A little sneak peek for you. This is going to be featured in a video I've got coming up soon. So whether or not I read it, up for debate, but it is a possibility that I could be reading this one very, very soon. Just feel like I'm giving little Easter eggs on everything because I've got all my stuff planned out. I know what I'm gonna do, but you don't know what I'm gonna do, which is kind of fun. Next, this one was on my other anticipated video. I know that for a fact. It's the Stranger in the Lifeboat. I have had this one on my shelf forever and I have not read it because I'm expecting it to be great. I'm expecting it to be the most profound piece of literature I've ever read in my entire life. Is it going to be? I don't know, but in my head it's going to be, so I'm nervous to not let it live up to my expectations. I will be honest, while Nick was in Poland, he did pick me up a Polish copy of this book. It was really funny. I didn't tell him anything about it. So he was like, I just want to get you at least one book while we're in Poland. I'm gonna bring it back for you. So he did that, and he ended up picking up the Polish version of this book, which is actually really funny because he didn't know, I didn't know. We couldn't read it, obviously. There was just this realistic photo of a lifeboat or a rowboat, whatever, on the cover, and I was like, that actually really looks like this book. Lo and behold, it's the same book. And I was like, the author looks so familiar. It was this. So I'm taking that as a sign. I feel like this is actually going to be really good. I'm actually really going to like it since I do have another copy of it. I don't know. I'm scared to read it, but again, I just think it's gonna be so good. I think the whole idea behind it is just crazy. I think it's really gonna make me think, and I like that. I like that a lot. Hopefully I get to that one soon. I'm gonna have to because I want to, and I just want to read it. Next, this one, I don't think I'll get to it anytime soon because it does give me spring vibes, so I would probably prefer to read it sometime in the springtime, but I have Crossroads. This is probably one of my favorite covers of all time. I don't know why, I just absolutely love the cover. I love the way that it just looks like an old school TV for some reason. I love just the muted colors on it. I think it's so cute. I've never really been one for people on the cover, but this one, that's how you do people on the cover if you're gonna do it. Also, just the colors of the words on the back, it's just so cute. I love it. Very intriguing. Like I said, I feel like it's gonna be more of a springtime read for me, so I'm going to save it for then, but I do plan on getting this knocked out come spring. Probably try to make some type of video reading my most anticipated reads or getting some of them knocked out, just that way, again, I can hold myself accountable. That's what we're doing. So I'm trying to do all my TBRs and all of my videos like this, make videos about them with the books in them, so that way I can keep myself accountable, because I need that. Then Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. The last book I read by Alice Feeney, I don't actually know what it was. I think I started with Rock, Paper, Scissors, and then maybe I read His and Hers, maybe? And maybe one other one? I don't know. I could be lying, but I feel like I'm not. I think her books always have the most out-of-pocket twist I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, like, I just don't know where this came from. Like, think of the most obscure character that you could possibly find in one of her books, and it's like, oh hey, this is whodunit. Like, this character had maybe five like short brief interactions. Not even 5, like just one brief interaction. Or like even somebody that we don't even have any idea that's in the book hardly, just that's the person that did it. And I'm like, what the heck? Like that. How am I supposed to guess that? And I will say recently, I have not been one to really try to ponder on what's going on in the books. I really just try to read the books and enjoy them for what they are. So that way I'm not finding any type of plot holes. I'm not finding anything that I'm going back on and being like, this is so ridiculous, it's so unrealistic, because that will get on my nerves and that will make me not like a book more, even though the book is good. So I try to avoid that because I don't want to be that type of person, but I do have this one. I'm very excited to read it. I'm excited to see what kind of random character she pulls out of thin air to be the person doing whatever they're going to be doing in this book. I don't know anything about this. I don't know what it's about, but I do really like the cover. I think the cover is really pretty. I think she did a good one on this one. And then also the little kind of rainbow fool. I like that. Nice touch. Next and last physical book that I have, I ended up putting Dinner for Vampires. I actually really love Bethany Joy Lenz. I loved watching her on, what's that show called? One Tree Hill. I don't know if that's the show that she's talking about in this book, but I loved that show. I loved her character. I loved her and Nathan's relationship. They were my favorite on the show by far, so I think reading a book from her, I think it'll just be really interesting. Also, Life on a Cult TV show, that's gonna be really interesting. Again, I'm assuming she's talking about One Tree Hill. I don't know for a fact, but that would be my guess. Also, I don't know what behind the scenes she's gonna be giving or anything like that, but I think that it'll probably give off the same type of vibes that we got from Jeanette McCurdy's book. Obviously, like kids show, not kids show, a little bit different, but I think being able to dig behind the scenes and stuff like that for TV shows, I always find that really interesting. I've always loved watching behind the scenes for shows, movies, seeing how things were done, and so I think someone's first-hand account of what happened behind the scenes is going to be a little bit interesting, but I also think it's going to make me a little sad. I think it might make me not like One Tree Hill as much, which is kind of sad, but hey, it is what it is. I'm excited for this one, and also it's a memoir. I think that'll be nice. A little bit different, and it just looks cute. She did a good job with the cover. Next, moving on to my Kindle books. These are all the books that I have on my Kindle that I'm very excited to read. I do not physically have these books to my knowledge. I could have them secretly somewhere and I just don't know, but I think for the most part, all of these are just on Kindle. First and foremost, Don't Believe Her, Nicola Sanders. I read my first Nicola Sanders book a little while ago. I loved it. And this is probably really controversial. I'm sure a lot of people won't like it because it's not super plot twisty. You're not trying to figure out who's doing it necessarily. It is kind of plot twisty, but obviously plot twisty in a way that you could guess it very easily. What I liked is the build-up for this book. I enjoyed watching the characters doing what they're doing and then the reactions from the other characters. I thought that that was really interesting to watch. I was so floored for the main characters, like just the gaslighting that happens with them and just people not believing them and all of that stuff. It just is insane. And then following them while all this is happening to them, it just absolutely drove me nuts. And I like that. I like when books can get that emotion pulled out of me. I love when a book can actually get on my nerves. But I'll tell you what, if you can make me feel like that, you're doing something right. You're doing something right if you can actually make me feel that annoyed while watching a show, while reading a book. So I have to give credit where credit's due. So I am very excited to read that one. Very excited to get back into a Nicole Sanders book. I think after reading both of the ones that she has written, I was super excited for the next one. I started like the first chapter and I didn't end up finishing it for whatever reason. I think I wanted to wait until I was in a better mood for it. I was a little bit more eager to read it, so I did wait. And now it's been a while. I do have that one on the list, very eager for that one. Next, this one's kind of random, but I have Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I just recently put this on my Kindle, so it definitely hasn't been on there for a very, very long time at all, but nonetheless, I am very eager for it. I think a good little fantasy, romantasy type thing is gonna be right up my alley. And I don't even know if this is part of a series or not. It probably is, and I just don't know it, but for whatever reason, looking at that book, I just know it is gonna be so good, and I need that. I need that in my life. I need something that's gonna be fabulous. Even just looking at the cover, I know it's gonna be good. So I'm excited for that one. I have Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. I don't know anything about that. I think somebody on YouTube ended up doing like a review on it, something like that, and said that it was really good, really scary, whatever the case was, had me hooked. Now I'm so eager to read that. I don't know if it's thriller or horror or just kind of like a mix of both, but I do need a good thriller book. I need a good thriller book that's really just gonna keep me on my toes, and I'm going to really enjoy it. The last thriller book that I read was Verity. I say thriller kind of loosely. It wasn't really that thrilling, but it was definitely a mystery. We're following along what's happening, and it wasn't very spicy, romancy, anything like. It was kind of spicy, but it wasn't like romancy with the main characters or anything like that. I'm looking for something very good like that, and I think that this one could really put me in the mood, especially in the winter. If I read this and it's like January, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be really good. Then I have My Friends by Frederick Bachman. I think that's how you say it. I read Anxious People. I actually devoured that book. It was probably one of, I don't want to say my favorite books that I've read, but it was very high up there. I don't think about it very often, but just the way that the entire book was written to just completely throw you off at the very end, it just crazy. Absolutely crazy. And there were so many things that he wrote in there that I don't know, it just provoked some emotions that I don't think I've ever felt in a book before. I was underlining a lot of things, and I don't ever do that. I don't think I annotated but that book in like Me Before You. So if that says anything, I don't even want to say annotated. I mean very loosely. I just underlined some things. I'm not an annotator, but just underlined some things that I really liked and I thought were cute. So I think this one, I have really high expectations for this. I have not read any of the other books that he's written, like the, what is it? Like the Beartown series or anything like that. I've not read any of those. I do want to, but for some reason I just feel like a good standalone from him is what I need right now. I do have most of his other books on my Kindle, but for whatever reason that one just looks so good. It looks so appealing. It looks like I need to read it, and it looks like I'm gonna love it. Then I have The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. That book, those sound so good, so good. Obviously I have the Inheritance Games on there. Just for whatever reason, it just looks like it's gonna be good. I need some kids working together, whatever, some people working together to solve this mystery. Like, that's what I need. I've heard it's giving, what is it, like Criminal Minds, CSI, whatever it is. I want that because literally I just watched a clip of Criminal Minds today and I want to go back and rewatch it. Like actually sit down and watch it. Usually I just put it on for the backgrounds, for the ambiance, whatever. I want to actually watch it. So I think a book series like that would definitely help me out, definitely get my fix in for that, and that's what I need. But I feel like I need to read the Inheritance Games first. I'll start with the Inheritance Games because some people say that The Naturals is better, some people don't think it is. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point, but I'm gonna read them both at some point. I just don't know when. Then lastly on my list, I have The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I have had this book on my Kindle probably since it came out. I've had this one for quite a while now, and it looks good. I want to read it so badly. I just don't click on it because I feel like I would rather read books that I'm not as excited for first. I don't know why I'm like that. I know I've talked about this before. I used to organize all of my books in least to most excited for, and I would start from the back and read the books that I was least excited for and work my way up for the books I was most excited for. But I think that kept me in a book slump, or kept me not as eager to read because I was reading the books I wasn't as excited for first. I don't really think that there's anything wrong with that necessarily, but it just ended up pushing the books that I was excited for towards the back burner. So as I would get other books that I was excited for, it would just kind of cause me to lose interest in the previous one. So I think that kind of messed me up a little bit. I do think that that caused me to not be as eager about some of the books that I have that I was really eager to read at one point, but you live and you learn. I'm probably not going to do that anymore. I do sometimes do that. I do think like that still, but I try not to actually put that into practice because, again, I don't want to just be reading books that I'm not excited for or like not in the mood for. I do think that when I do that, it definitely just crushes any ability that I have to read. I don't really want to read, I don't care to pick up a book, and then just me trying to make a video goes on and on and on because I just am not wanting to read. I'm not wanting to pick up my book. I'm not wanting to do what I need to do. And that's not good. I need to not do that. So I think at this point, if I've learned anything in just talking to you and talking to myself here, I just need to read these first. I just need to get these out of the way. And then maybe I'll be a little bit more excited about some of the books that I'm not as eager to read. Maybe that's what I need to do. I think that's what I'm deciding now, just chatting about that. But those are all the books. Those are all of my 12 most anticipated reads. I think that was pretty much all the books that I was just really, really eager on getting to. I went through my shelf, I went through my Kindle library, and those were the ones that really stood out to me. I just figured I had to let you know, tell you, show you everything that I have on my shelf, on my Kindle that I'm so excited to read. That way I can hold myself accountable into actually reading them, getting them knocked out. So that way I don't have to worry about keeping on having this pedestal in my head with these books on it because it's weighing me down. Not that I want to just get them out of the way, but I'm eager to read them, so I want to read them while I'm still eager. But those are all the books that I'm super excited to read. Let me know what books you have on your shelves that you are most eager to read. Let me know if you're actually putting them off for the same reasons that I am, or if you tend to just pick those books first and just get them out of the way so that way you only have the books that you're not as excited for on your shelf. Let me know what you tend to do because obviously I just told you what I do, and I need other people to convince me that I'm not that wrong, but I need to not do that. But that's it. That's all I got for you. Thank you for sitting here and letting me yap about all the books that I have on here that I need to get going with. Again, I'm going to use this to keep myself accountable in the future, and you probably will see a video of me reading just a handful of these books on this list at some point, just in their own designated video. But as always, I greatly appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hopefully will get to see you in the next one, probably tomorrow. See ya!